Hi, I'm Matt from Tubby Tarot. Welcome back to another 10 Talk Tuesday. I'd like to chat today about my journey moving from tarot reading to Lenormand reading. Hi and welcome back. Today I'd like to talk about Lenormand cards and how I've slowly started moving from doing only tarot card readings and oracle readings and incorporating Lenormand cards into my repertoire, as it were. Okay, and I've been doing this more and more recently. I think as I've learned to read Lenormand better and better, I find that Lenormand is a lot, I wouldn't say easier to read, but I would say it's a lot more stringent and a lot more to the point. Whereas with tarot, there's a lot of interpretation that is needed. With Lenormand, there really isn't that much interpretation. The card is what the card is. If the card has got a fish on it, it stands for money or cash, okay? And it can't be interpreted as, well, the metaphorical taking on of new responsibilities as you wander through the rivers of life, and that will bring you a lot of good things. No. If that was a tarot card, I could do that, but it's not. It's a Lenormand card and it means cash. The green, baby. Bring it on. Okay? So Lenormand is very much a structured cartomantic way of divination. Okay? It's not open to as much interpretation, if really any interpretation, as what tarot or oracle cards are. So why would I want to move away from this freedom of interpretation to a system that is actually very binding? Strangely enough, having those set boundaries has been very freeing for me, because it allows me to be very direct and very to the point with clients. Now, if you know about, I'm not going to be giving you a lesson on Lenormand cards here. That's not what this video is about. But if you do know anything about Lenormand, you'll know that you have to work within certain parameters. There's no sort of margin for error here. It is what it is. Okay. For instance, in Lenormand, there's the coffin card, and the coffin card means illness, sickness, and death. It means the end. It's not like the Ten of Swords, which means metaphorical end of whatever. This means death or sickness. Okay, so if this is about somebody's health, it would mean that they are going to get really sick, or they could actually even die. All right, so it is not metaphorical, and I like that. I like that I can say to a client, this is the situation with your cash. You've got money, you've got X, Y, and Z influencing the money, and then you've got X, Y, and Z adding to that influence. Okay, I like that. I like that definite or definitiveness, is that a word, of the reading, of the outcome to the question. I also like the fact that with something called the Grand Tableau, which is where you use all 36 cards in the pack, you lay them all out and you do a full reading, and that reading you can't do it in less than an hour. I normally take about 90 minutes to do a full Grand Tableau reading. I like the way that you can see a person's life, their whole life laid out in front of you, and you can see what is influencing what at a glance. You don't have to worry about constantly doing spreads and that sort of thing. You do a Grand Tableau and you look and you see everything. It's kind of like a bird's eye view of their entire life, okay, because the different cards relate to different areas of their lives. So a fish would relate to their money, the bear would relate to their strengths, the dog would relate to the loyalties, people who are loyal to the questioner, okay. And you look at all of these cards in relation to, if it's a male questioner, the man card, or if it's a female questioner, the lady card. I have different packs on my shelf. Some of the Lenormand packs I actually have 2 male cards in the pack, so that if the question is a question about relationships and love and it's being asked by a gay man, I'm not going to say to him, well, you know, pretend that that lady over there is a man. I've got my 2 male cards. And a lot of decks, not all of them, but a lot of decks come with 2 male and 2 female characters, where you can choose whichever you want. I have another deck which I use. It's a beautiful deck. I specifically use it for my lesbian ladies who come to me. And that has got, obviously I've taken the 2 male cards out and I've put the 2 female cards in. So Lenormand definitely does give you a variety, a way of doing things, which I kind of like, you know. It's not something that you're going to use, I think, if you are doing a reading for someone who's very airy-fairy, artsy-fartsy, needs that interpretive reading. This is a way of divining for somebody who wants to cut through the crap. I want to know, are my finances going to improve this year? Boom, let's see. Yes, they are, but you need to be careful of the fox card, which means that there's some slyness. People are going to be sly and underhanded here. Done. Okay? Somebody comes in for a full life reading. I can say your love life is there. Your career is there. No, this is not going to work because that card is far away from your representative card. It's a really cool way of doing readings. Okay, now there are many different Lenormand decks out there, the same as what there are tarot decks and oracle decks and angel decks. The only difference is that all your Lenormand decks will have the same cards. So you will have a fox, you will have a snake, you will have a coffin. There will be no interpretation of what cards are there. There will always be those 36 images in the deck. Some decks give you even more cards. Some decks give you, as I said to you, the choice of 2 female cards, 2 male cards. You can interplay, or you can choose different types. They're usually in 2 completely different styles. Personally, I like reading with the slightly more modern cards. I have a lot of decks, obviously. I have a lot of different decks, but I do like to read with the slightly more modern Lenormand cards. Now, the other thing about Lenormand is that they have an association to the normal playing card deck. Often you will see a little picture of a playing card in the corner of a Lenormand card. That is, again, something that is used when you start getting into like your more advanced reading. I don't really use it at the moment because I haven't quite got to that level of reading Lenormand. But it doesn't affect the reading in any way if you don't use this. It simply adds another layer of depth to your reading if you can use this technique. And that's very exciting because, again, this is another reason why I'm very happy to be moving across to Lenormand readings, is it's something new for me to discover. It's something new for me to learn. So it's a wonderful way to shift your parameters, your way of thinking if you're a tarot reader, because we all have a specific way of reading tarot. We have that open-minded way of reading, okay, that interpretive way of reading, and it's nice to have a very, very structured system, boom, boom, okay, a system that is even more structured than tarot, okay. So go and have a look, see how you feel, go and check Lenormand out. It's exciting, it's new, it's different, and I can honestly recommend it. I'm Matt from Tubby Tarot, and I will see you on the flip side.